Hey, you guys, this is the Couplings Fire podcast. Here's a couple of things you might need to know, or maybe you just forgot. I'm Taylor, a volunteer firefighter and also a firewife to my favorite firefighter. Join me as I talk anything and everything fire related. I don't claim to be an expert, I just love to talk fire, and I'm not afraid to get into real and deep discussions. Everything I say is my own opinion and does not reflect the opinions of any agency or organization I am associated with. Let's get on with the episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Couplings Fire podcast. I am your host, Taylor Anderson, and I am so happy to have you here on this episode with me. You're kind of on the episode with me. I mean, I know you guys can't talk to me, and I wish that every single one of you could. But no, I feel like you're here with me whenever I record this, and it's kind of nice because I know you guys are out there listening, and I get feedback, and it's fantastic, and I love talking to you. So yeah, no, I just kind of imagine that like everybody's in the room with me and I'm actually having an open conversation, right? Like, it's nice to dream. I mean, that might also be the little voices in my head talking back to me too, but we won't get into that too much. No, but thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. This has been a crazy adventure since I started this podcast over a year ago, and it's taken me a lot of different places. I've met a lot of amazing people, and it just keeps happening. I'm so excited for things that are coming up in the future. I'm actually, in a month from now, heading to Revolutionary Fire Tactics at the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri in July. So that'll be a blast. I'm so excited to get to meet a lot of friends in person for the first time and get to meet new people in the fire service and see some old friends. It's going to be amazing. This is going to be the very first big conference I've gone to. Well, it's a little conference, but the first legitimate conference, we're going to say it like that, the first legitimate conference I'm going to outside of the state of Nebraska. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I've taken classes outside of Nebraska, especially, like, I've gone to Kansas and done some stuff, but it's always been small, like a 1 or 2 day thing, like really tiny too. This is going to be an entire weekend at Lake of the Ozarks with a bunch of firefighters who love what they do and who want to come together and get better. They have a fantastic lineup. I'm so excited for it. So this is it. This is the big jump. I am getting out of Nebraska. Yay. So if any of you listening are going to be there, please let me know. I'd love to meet up, say hi or something while we're there. And if you can't come this year, I'm anticipating it going amazing, right? And I'm going to want to come back the next year. And next year, hopefully I actually can bring my husband with me too. So we'll see. We'll see how that all works out with schedules and things, but that's the plan at the moment. But if you guys are going to be there, let me know. I'd love to meet up and chat and say hi. So that's what's coming up for me soon. Otherwise, some other housekeeping things. Oh, okay. So a while ago, how long was that now? Oh, I should have looked this up before I started recording. I'm not going to go back and do it, but I put out the episode dealing with failure, where I went to one of my fire trainings and I completely failed, right? I had to quit in the middle of it and just more or less made myself angry at myself because my body couldn't do what I wanted it to do. So since then, I've been on this kick of working out and making my body better. Right? Not just for the fire service. That is a lot of motivation behind it, but it's just for everyday life too. I'm just becoming overall healthier and I'm growing muscle, right? I'm actually focusing more on those exercises than just cardio stuff. And I can see a difference. Like back at the beginning of the year, I did the wedge program with Bill Dungy, right? So I did that and I did an episode with him on that. But my goal at that time was to do 10 full push-ups. And I know it sounds ridiculous because now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, that was nothing. Because I can look at it now on some of the workouts I'm doing and I can easily push out 25, 30 plus full body push-ups. And 6 months ago, I couldn't have said that. And it's amazing, this journey, what it's doing, how it's taking, just by the little steps. I haven't done anything ridiculous. I haven't cut out carbs. I haven't completely cut out junk food. I haven't done any of that. I haven't even completely cut out beer or other things, you guys. Okay? Like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just putting in the time I'm focusing on eating better overall, which means overall on a daily basis, I just try to make better choices. That doesn't mean I deny myself of anything I want. I just try to make a better choice or try to find something that maybe will fulfill that same satisfaction of like a salty or a sweet or something like that if I can. But I'm still going to have a bowl of ice cream if I want. Right? But then I make sure I go and I'm doing my workouts. And I'm having my protein shakes, and I found one I absolutely loved. It's coffee flavored and it has some espresso in it too and stuff like that, but it's delicious. Right? And I never thought I'd be the person who loves drinking protein shakes, but it's awesome. And just making sure I have the time for these workouts and putting in the time for these workouts. And they actually don't take as long as I thought they would. I thought they'd be terrible. I thought it'd be the worst thing ever. I thought they'd take forever to do. I thought I wouldn't be able to get through them. And yeah, some of them suck. Some of them are hard to get through, but overall, it's not that bad. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I was just talking to Chris today, and I mean, I don't necessarily need to get into all the specifics of what's happening or anything, but I'm gaining muscle. I can tell. I can feel it. I can feel things getting easier when I go to trainings. I can feel that I'm able to do more. I'm able to hold up to the training better, right? And on top of that, like definitely wasn't like the focus of this, but it's nice. I'm losing weight. A few weeks and I'm down at this point like 8 pounds, which is fantastic. It definitely was just a byproduct of me just trying to gain muscle and be better. And so I just want to put the encouragement to you guys, if you're having a hard time, if you're getting stuck where you are, whatever it is, try to find something small that you can do to put into stuff. It's going to take that push and that drive to keep yourself doing it all the time and not falling off the wagon, right? But find something that you can stick with. I found out that I can stick with those protein shakes every day at a certain time. And it actually helps me not eat other things. Not that I had a huge problem with that in the first place, but it gives me enough energy, if I line it up right, to then do my workout when I get home from work or something. And so I found a way to line it up right. And then the workouts I'm doing, I found this, and I can't remember if I actually told you guys about it before or not, but it's called Fit Female Firefighters. It's a group on Facebook, and they actually put out daily workouts, all kind of geared towards, kind of getting ready for the CPAT or something like that, right? And so I've been doing those workouts, and this is the progress I've been seeing just by doing those workouts. And those aren't anything crazy. Most of the time, they take me anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes total to get done. And I don't know, this is probably way too much information for you guys. You probably don't need a whole rundown of everything right now. I want to do a full episode on this in the future, and I will. And I want to get some other guests on to do it with me, actually. So wait and see who I get on for those. But long story short, I've been doing those workouts. Things have been going really, really well. I don't have a lot of the equipment that I need. So I found ways to use things from around the house for the equipment. We'll get into that in that episode too. If you guys have been following me on Instagram, you've seen some of those that I've done. I'm really happy to say my husband and I just invested in one of the bullet sandbags. Bullet sandbags? I don't know how you want to say it. Bullit, so you guys know. But we took the plunge. We bought one of those. And oh my gosh, you guys, that I've only done a couple workouts with it so far since we've got it. It is not cheap. I will say that it's not cheap, but it is pretty awesome. And there's a lot of ways you can utilize those bags. I recommend, if you guys want to know kind of some more about those bags, first of all, obviously check out their website and stuff like that. But then go ahead and check out Pip with 555 Fitness, and then go check out Courtney Jerson with Fitness Like a Phoenix. Go check out all of their stuff. And you guys are going to see those sandbags put to work and how they use them. So those are definitely the motivation behind pushing Chris and I to actually go ahead and take the plunge and buy this bag. And I can see it definitely getting used very regularly throughout all this. So, okay, that was a long intro. I did not expect that to be that long. So let's go ahead and get on to this episode. on this episode of House Hunters. Yeah, you guys came for a fire podcast, but you got thrown into HGTV instead. Oh, yeah. So why HGTV? Why House Hunters? Taylor, where is your brain going? I know. Sometimes I don't even know, you guys. Ugh. Okay, so I may or may not have watched a little bit too much HGTV over the years. I may or may not have gotten addicted to it. And that is like, you used to have Saturday morning, you'd wake up and watch all the cartoons and stuff like that, right? Like, what was it? Was it ABC Saturday mornings? I think is what I used to watch. I want to say that's correct. It's pretty close anyways. But I used to watch that all the time, and now I've replaced it with my HGTV Saturday mornings. And I don't actually know what they have on like the actual HGTV station, but like we have Hulu, and so then I'll throw on something on HGTV, one of the house, either renovations or hunters or whatever, right? And it's kind of a guilty pleasure, kind of fun, It's fun to dream. It's fun to like look into stuff like that. And sometimes when you do that, you get a lot of interesting ideas put in your head. But one day while I was watching, it just dawned on me that choosing a fire department you want to work for or volunteer for is a lot like HGTV. Okay? I mean, imagine House Hunters. You are going from place to place to place, picking up applications, maybe actually applying there, researching about their department, figuring it out, really seeing where do you want to be. Okay. Do you like this department in general? Is it in a city you want to be in? Is it in a state you want to be in? Is your spouse going to like it there? Like, is it as close to your work as it is to the school? And you know how that goes on House Hunters. But, you got to look into all those logistic things first, right? Do you even like the location of it? Do you even like the department itself? Do you like what it stands for? Do you like the building blocks that you're seeing from the outside? Does it have good curb appeal? When you walk in through your tours, does it look nice? Could you envision yourself living there? Sometimes you're automatically like, nope, this is not the one for me. Move on to the next one. Sometimes it's harder to pick. Sometimes you do have to sit down and be like 50-50 shot, and maybe you apply for everything. And then sometimes you put in your offer and somebody outbids you. You put in your application and you do not make it past the application process. Oh, that sucks. It happens though. But overall, every single person who goes through on any of these shows, they have different wants. They have different budgets. They have some things that they are willing to sacrifice on, so that way they can have some other perks or other things in the house. And they have stuff that they are not going to sacrifice, that they have to have the specific thing. A lot of times when it comes to volunteering for departments, a lot of us, especially when it comes to the center of America, very rural America, you don't get a choice on where you get to volunteer. If you want to volunteer, you're kind of stuck with where you're at, right? I know that's the way it is for a lot of us. If you have the option to be nearby a bigger city, you might have the opportunity to maybe look into a couple. That's kind of where I was last year when we moved. We moved to a big enough place where there were a couple different ones I could join. And it was an interesting thing for me because I'd never been put in that situation before. I was always under the impression of like, yeah, you lived in this specific area, this is where you volunteer with. And it's not always that way. So I had to come across my own version of House Hunters right then and like, okay, what is each department like? What are their pros and cons? Like, okay, how many calls do they go to a year? What are their requirements to be on? What are their people like overall? What's their training program like? Do their people like training, or are they more laid back and not so much? Are they more forward thinkers in the fire service, or are they more wanting to do things the way they've been doing them and not change too much? Not that it's a big deal, but comes into play too. What are their budgets like? Are they a department that actually has a good, healthy budget? and can do a lot with it. Not necessarily that it's like huge, but like, have the resources to actually maybe maintain and update things as needed, right? Or is this department one that is going to have a lot of struggles that you're going to have to do more fundraising with, more grant stuff with, more work to be able to do those same things? Are you going to have to sacrifice a lot? Overall, how's the department set up? What's their structure like? Do you vote in officers? Do they get positioned in, by boards and things? You have to look at all these things and find these pros and cons and decide, okay, where's actually a good fit? I would never recommend that anybody go out there if they have a chance to pick between different, especially volunteer departments. I don't suggest going out there and just finding the person with the biggest budget, because that's not necessarily what's going to make you happy. But it all comes into account of, where do you think you're actually going to fit in? Where do you think you're actually going to like being? When you join a fire department, I mean, honestly, your vision should be set on the long haul, I believe. They are investing a lot into you, and you want to make sure you make it worth their time. I understand things happen, and sometimes other opportunities pop up out of nowhere and you do change quickly. But, I'd like to say, try to be in that position for at least 5 years if you can help it, if not longer. But just try to find something that you actually fit well with. Overall, align as best you can and find the things that you're willing to negotiate on and to have sacrificed, right? And the things that you're not. And then, not every place is going to be perfect for every person, right? Let's look at the houses again. So there's so many people, they're so into the all white, the open concept, and even like the farmhouse stuff, right? Like that's everybody's dream house, it seems like. Ranch style, right? No, I hate those. I don't like those. I would not want to live there. It doesn't make me feel good. It's hilarious because that's what everybody else idolizes, but that's not me. I'd rather have a big old 2-story. I'd like to have it be semi-Victorian or something like that, right? I want dark colors or bold colors on the inside, right? I love my deep blues. I love my purples. I love like super dark wood and stuff like that. Like, give me that elegance, coziness. Like, that is me. I want that stuff. I tried telling that to somebody else and they're like, wait, what? No. Victorian rooms are so small. Well, they're not, but it depends what house you go into. But the point of it is what's a good fit for me for a house is not going to be the same as the person sitting next to me. What departments you guys look into, whether it be career or volunteer, it may not be a good fit for you, but it may be a fantastic fit for somebody else. So when you can, do your research when you're looking into these things. And really, really figure out, is this someplace that you could actually see yourself wanting to be? Do their values align with yours? What are your negotiables and what are your non-negotiables? Overall, even when you do all this research, things still look good from the outside, right? You go through the whole buying process, maybe you put in your application, stuff like that, right? You get lucky enough to get chosen to move on or get hired there or get accepted to volunteer there, however it works, right? And then you start seeing things aren't necessarily as perfect as what you thought they'd be. Going to some of these home reno shows, everything's perfect, looks great. They have a big old plan. I'm thinking of like Property Brothers, right? They have this big plan of like, oh, they're going to take out this wall. It's always taking out a wall, right? That's totally what they do. But like everything is rip the cabinets out and take down a wall. That's every episode of Property Brothers. But that's what they do. So you go in to do that in your own firehouse, right? You go in, you're ready to work, you're awesome, ready to go. Take that down. There's always a problem, isn't there? There is always a water pipe that's not in the right spot, or they had plans to make this big old open concept and there's a load-bearing wall there or something that they have to work with, right? And yeah, they can change it, but it's going to take more money. And maybe it's an easy fix. Maybe it's something that just takes a little bit of money, a little bit of time, no big deal. Good to go. You're happy again, right? Things are on track. Still within your budget or close. Sometimes Sometimes it is a huge inconvenience, and it's something that's going to cost thousands of dollars and will take years to fix. What if something went completely wrong with the kitchen, or you want a huge kitchen, like that's just the thing that you really wanted? That kitchen's not getting done in a weekend. That kitchen is going to take a few $1,000s to get all your new appliances in there and cabinets and to extend the house, right? To make your kitchen bigger. And it's, especially if you're doing it on your own to save money, right? Because, we love saving money. It's going to take forever. It's going to take years. And you got to ask yourself, is that what you want? Can you handle it? Are you going to be able to go through this renovation process with the ones you love most and come out at the end of it all? Like, that is like the total like relationship test, right? Everyone says like, if you can move or do a renovation like with your spouse, like, that you're fine. You know that you're going to be okay. Totally the same thing. Can you make it through those renovation processes with your coworkers, with your fellow firefighters, with your captains, with your chiefs? Can you do it? Can you do it with your family at home? Or is there going to be too much conflict and tension there? Where once it gets destroyed, is it going to get rebuilt again? Pretty much anywhere you go, doesn't matter what house you buy, doesn't matter what firehouse you go into, it's not going to be absolutely perfect. We would love it to be perfect, right? I would love any firehouse I go into to be perfect. It's not gonna be. There's going to be little hiccups here and there. There's going to be things that need fixing. Maybe you don't have the money for it right now. Maybe there's no way to be able to get the materials for it right now. Maybe that fix that really needs done in your firehouse is going to have to wait 5 years. It happens, and it's not uncommon. These are things that every firefighter in the world goes through. And things may always look better at another firehouse. You may be applying for something and you thought it was like the best job ever, and you get in and you realized this does not work for me. This is not what I thought it was. This will not work with my lifestyle. This will not work with my values. Maybe it's a great department overall, right? Like I said, what's great for one person isn't always perfect for another. Maybe it's a fantastic department for another person, but it's just not what it cracked up to be for you, for whatever reason. It's not a bad thing. It's okay. This amazing department that everybody talks about. Think of it. Think of the big city department that everybody loves in your area. Not everybody who's worked there has loved it. But other people, they can't stop talking about it. It's the greatest place on earth, right? It's like when you walk into a house. I walk into a ranch style. I don't necessarily love it. I live in a ranch style. I don't really love it. Somebody else, it's their dream house. It's absolutely perfect for them. Just remember, there's no one size fits all. Every department does things differently, and every department is meant for a different type of person. And it may take you a while to find where you actually belong. It may take you a while to find a house that you love, that you want to stay, that you want to put in that work, and you're okay with taking those years and years for that big, high-cost renovation. Or maybe you're going to find one right out of the bat that is perfect and you don't have to do anything to. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I hope you get that. I hope you have gotten that. That is dream scenario right there. But it rarely happens. Things are going to take work. And if you have enough determination, you can make a house that you don't love. Like how many flipping episodes have you guys seen, right? Like they take this terrible, it's completely disgusting, right? Half the time they leave a ton of stuff in there that's gross and rotting and whatnot. Like, oh, it's so bad. Things need completely stripped out, redone. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of money. It's a lot of decision making. It's very stressful. But when that flip gets done, oh goodness, it looks great. You can do that. Anyone can do that. You do not have to be a professional house flipper to do that. It's just going to take a lot of work. And it's going to take a lot of time. And a lot of times when you take the time, when you put in the effort to turn that house around, to turn that fire department around, you feel so good about it because you know that you put in that work. That was you. That was you yourself. That was your team. And you guys did something great together. So no matter what, if you guys are going out there and going house hunting for a new fire department to volunteer at or to apply for or whatever it is, keep in mind all those things. Keep in mind of where you're going to fit, what's going to make sense for you, what are your negotiables, what are your non-negotiables. You know, make sure that you know that there's probably going to be things that are going to surprise you, or maybe not surprise you, once you get on that department. Keep in mind there's going to be renovations that need to be done. Keep in mind that some of those may cost more and take longer than what you would really love for that to. And figure out if you're willing to put in the work to make that a place where you want to be and settle down. And don't be afraid of those departments that almost seem like there's no hope. Because they're out there, right? They are out there. But you can put in the work to make them something amazing and brand new again. You can make that department the top department in the area if you put in that hard work. It will take time. It will take effort. It will take money. It will take probably all of your sanity. But you can do it. Know that you're not going to fit in at every fire station, at every fire department. And that's okay. And it's okay that you don't fit in, but your best friend does. And it's okay if your best friend doesn't fit in, but you do. It's life. I don't know how else to say it to you guys. It's life. Just know that those are the realities of it. Just because you had a bad experience with a certain department or with a certain crew or whatever it may be, doesn't mean that everyone's going to have that same problem. It doesn't mean that that's a bad department. It doesn't mean that that's a bad crew. It just means it's not for you. All right. Anyways, so that is all I have for this week on this episode. A nice shorter one for you guys. Shows you how much I watch HGTV. I could probably go on longer for this one, but I'm going to end it here because we have another great one coming up next week that's going to be longer than an hour. So next week, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what's happening because this one is actually going to happen because I know, because I've already recorded it. So I have John Vogt on with Rescue One CBD next week. If you guys don't know anything about it, that's fine. Go check it out on Instagram, on Facebook, check out the website. Otherwise, come back and listen to the episode next week, and we're going to go over everything with Rescue One CBD because I didn't know a lot, and I learned so much from talking to John. It was a blast. Okay, so I hope you guys have a good night, day, whatever time you're listening to this, and I will catch you on the next episode. See ya! Thanks for coming by and listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Couplings Fire Podcast. See you next time, everybody.